Okay, so this right here is my dad's 2007 Ford Fusion. He's had this thing since brand new in like February of 2007. It is a manual and it's a 2.3 liter 4-cylinder. And it's been a great car for him. It's gone through like 3 different clutches, but that's probably more to like error than like the actual reliability of the vehicle. And overall, it's been a pretty great car. So, actually, you probably haven't seen it much on this channel because it just doesn't break. I mean, yeah, I gotta do some window regulators on it and stuff like that, but today's video is gonna be a starter motor, which is apparently one of the few flaws that this car does actually have. Its car has about 140,000 miles, it's about 17 years old, and the starter motor finally gave up on it. Now, I've already recorded this video, but I didn't have the mic on at the time, so it's going to be more of a voiceover narration kind of thing. But just know it's pretty easy, and it's one of those jobs where you could realistically do it from the top or the bottom. I just chose to start from the top and then end up finishing off on the bottom because I would have had more clearance, just because it's how I like to do things. So step 1 is obviously going to be to start taking this car apart, pop the hood, take the battery out. Again, I was under the impression that the starter motor was going to be underneath the battery location. Once I pulled the battery and battery tray out, I realized that was not the case. My dad watched some YouTube videos, and apparently there's a couple Fusions out there where that's where the starter is. That could be the V6. I didn't really look too much into it. So once I pulled the battery and battery tray out, realized it wasn't there, then I pulled the intake plenum, or intake air cleaner assembly out, which is super easy. It just took a screwdriver to pop off the top piece. I then removed this little red tab, which holds on the connector for the mass airflow sensor. Once those two are off, I was able to remove the actual top half of the airbox. Then pull the air filter element out, and then remove the lower part of the airbox. Our airbox element did crack a little bit, mostly due to age. I will be getting a new one, but for now I'll probably just zip tie it later on in the video. Let's see. Now that everything is out, you can kind of sort of see the starter motor. It's in the very front of the engine. Not really too accessible. It's accessible. It's only held in by 2 bolts, so it's not that hard to get to, but I just thought it would be easier if I could see more of it from the bottom. So what I ended up doing is jacking the car up as high as I can get it. Oh shit! And I started to tackle it by removing the top bolt from the top and the bottom bolt from the bottom. Oh damn. And so you can basically get to the starter from both the top and the bottom. I just wanted it easy. Sneak my hand in there from both sides. So there's, let's go 13 maybe? Yeah, it's definitely 13. The 2 bolts that hold the starter to the car are going to be 13 millimeters. The positive cable is going to be a 13 millimeter as well. And then the negative is a 10 millimeter. So oddly enough, the starter motor is not really too easy to see no matter what way you go through. And you can take it out to the bottom or the top. However, for me, it was a little bit easier. If you can see it right there, those 2 bolt holes are the starter. Basically, you can see it right down in here. to the coolant line in the way. So I ended up jacking up the car just so I can see it both from the top and the bottom. You can reach both bolts from either the top and the bottom. However, I found it easier for me to take the under tray, get the car up in the air, get the bottom bolts from there and the top bolts from up here. And it worked. So now I just need to pull this damn thing off, just like so. And there it is. There's the starter motor. And you can see the cabling right there to pull it off. It just caught on the clutch slave cylinder or the clutch line. So yeah, it's actually surprisingly much smaller than I thought it would be. But nothing too bad. So once I took the starter off the car, I then removed the positive and the negative. Now you see just how much easier it is to get access to everything down from here. So you can see there's that one small black wire to take off right there. And then that big red power cable right there. Once those two are off, it should just come right out. The hard part is making sure which is which. So this one right here looks to be the negative, right there. And then the positive looks to be up top, right up over here. Actually, I can look at the new starter to take a better look. So yeah, here and here, these are the two wires you gotta remove. This guy and this guy. And you can see that is a official Ford starter going in there. So I'll pop those two off and get it out. And then did the reverse, popped it back on. It was a really simple job and probably took me less than 2 hours total. So anyway, here we are again. Car runs great again. It does have some slight lifter tick or cam chain slap or whatever it is, but it's had that for like 20-30,000 miles already. I'm gonna get around to it. I will. It runs right now. Out of all the cars in the house, the 16 or so cars, this van and this Fusion are right now the only two that are running at this exact moment. The TC is down because I need to do CV axles in again. The Crown Vic is down. I'm not 100% sure why. It just got a misfire. The truck is down because the radiator went bad, and the radiator that arrived today is the wrong one. My F-150 is down because it's overfilling gas to the secondary tank, which I will be fixing today. And then, I don't know, the van runs too. So the van and the Fusion both run. But yeah, if you like the video, hit like. If you want to see more videos of me fixing shit boxes, hit subscribe because there will be a lot of them. Have a good one.